let's listen. I found this just, I don't find a lot of stuff disturbing that comes out of the mouths of crazy right-wingers. And I don't care that much about Phil Robertson, the Duck Dynasty guy. But understand, this guy's an icon on the right. He's on right-wing media, probably on a weekly basis, if not more, on Hannity, giving the political analysis about Muslims or politicians or whatever it is. In other words, this is what the people on the right, this is who they look up to. Here is Phil Robertson during a speech at a Florida prayer breakfast, talking, I guess, about atheists.
Maybe if you just buy enough health care insurance, that'll keep you out of the ground. I don't think so. Save you money.
Pause.
You got a 6-foot hole waiting on you if you...
I don't think that Phil understands what health insurance is for. I would bet that Phil, even before the mandate, had health insurance, and he didn't even think that it was going to keep him from dying. He just thought that maybe it will make me feel better to pay for health care. But according to him, that ain't going to stop you from dying. Bye.
You have all the health care you can buy. You say, is it going to keep me out of the ground? No, sir. It's a problem. And you know something? You can't solve it. Just like you can't see in your sin problem. Oh, I don't know, this conscience thing. I mean, we just dreamed it up. There's no right. There's no wrong. There's no good. There's no evil.
Pause it. I should tell you right now, too, if you're listening with little kids, I would stop because I would have the kid not listen because Phil now gets into, he wants to show that there's no right, no wrong. And these atheists, it's all just whatever, hippy-dippy. Here you go.
I'll make a bet with you. Two guys break into an atheist home. He has a little atheist wife and two little atheist daughters. Two guys break into his home and tie him up in a chair and gag him. And then they take his two daughters in front of him and rape both of them and then shoot them. And they take his wife and decapitate her head off in front of him. And then they can look at him and say, isn't it great that I'd have to worry about being judged? Isn't it great that there's nothing wrong with this? There's no right or wrong. Now is it, dude? And then you take a sharp knife and take his manhood and hold it in front of him and say, wouldn't it be something if this was something wrong with this? But you're the one that says there's no God, there's no right, there's no wrong. So we're just having fun. We're sick in the head. Have a nice day. If it happened to them, they probably would say, something about this, it just ain't right.
Yeah, I imagine an atheist, even though they don't believe in God, still would say, yes, that killing is wrong. I mean, I don't know if, and I would even bet that if this Duck Dynasty moron, even if he did not believe in God, would be able to come to the conclusion that things like rape and murder are wrong. I mean, just how this guy's sick. There's something mentally wrong with this guy to have this vision and need the existence of a God to tell him that hurting people and killing them is wrong. And the fact of the matter is, I think it's really actually the agnostics who would be more like, oh, did you just cut my penis off and put it in front of my face? There's no problem.
No, you're wrong. That's really unfair to us agnostics. We would be more like, you as an atheist wouldn't be able to say anything if you are an atheist. I as an agnostic would be like, I have a sense that this probably is wrong, but I can't say definitively that it is. It's a more waffly position.
Man, if
Because
you're
we just don't know.
if you're really religious, it's possible there may be a little bit of wiggle room in terms of the whole cutting the foreskin thing. So if you cut off a big piece of his penis and wave it in his face,
What I want to know is...
that would be sort of confusing
What I want to
to
know...
a God-fearing person. You're like, wait a second, did you just mess up on the cutting the foreskin or what?
What I want to know is you hear these stories, and I don't want to invalidate people's experiences, but you hear stories of like, I overcame addiction, or I overcame something through finding religion, whether people like it or not. That is a pretty common occurrence. But like, what was this guy's first conversation with his pastor about? Could you imagine how unbelievably disturbing that is? Like, Pastor Pete.
Yeah, I've never been religious before, but rape and murder, where are we on that?
I sort of have a hankering to rape and decapitate an entire family, and I get a sense from the sermon today that you might not be on board
It's
with
God
that.
again, is it? Because I want to just check in with God first before I go ahead with my rape murder fantasy and the decapitation. Okay, God is against that. All right, well, then I guess I think I'll just grow a beard and do a TV show. How's that?
I also like how in the fantasy, after all of these just like horrifying things, the guy said, the torturer, murderer, rapist say to the guy before castrating him, they go, hey, isn't this awesome?
Yeah, this is great. We're just doing this.
We're like
crazy.
doing our thing. Aren't you into this too, man? You're an atheist. That's why we're here. There's no way you can possibly object to this. He did like a morning zoo voice for the like crazed, decapitating rapist torture people in his. And could you imagine hearing this? It is a breakfast.
Hey, that's why we raped all of you. It's 3 for Thursday.
No way you could say it's wrong, folks, because you don't believe in the Bible or God.
That's right. Good thing for us. You don't believe in God. Otherwise, we'd feel bad about doing this. Unbelievable. That guy's demented.
I like the crowd when he's really into it, and you hear in the background like, amen, amen.
Absolutely. I hope those atheists. Oh, God.
Well, you know what's even more sick is that they actually sort of think that that's going to happen, because my understanding of a certain version of hell and these very literalist religious things is that I've heard even people say that people in heaven get a view, and you can actually kind of look down and check out what's going on. And the visions of hell are kind of actually like that.
Well,
You're like
there
it's
is-
eternally
That part is
tortured
true.
and
That part is true. There is like a glass bottom boat. It's like a big. Heaven is like it's like a big glass bottom.
right. But I'm
boat.
saying, think of the sadism that runs through. You actually are really into this vision where you're like, I'm gonna be able to sort of enjoy watching
it
people
is a
being
little bit
tortured.
sadistic because that's the only thing you can see
That's it.
out of the glass bottom boat. There's nothing else except for just how like the atheists and the Jews and the Muslims, let's
Right,
be honest, and
right.
the Hindus and the fake Christians, they're just suffering. So it's like instead of like they're actually being like some nice looking fish, all you see is the suffering.
I'd like to have it more like a we're in the programmed age, so I'd like to switch it up. I'd like a little aquatic, a little
No,
wildlife.
you
and
don't
then
get that.
I'd also like to program in my torture. Like I'd like an atheist, but then I'd also like a Hindu.
Yeah, that's
And
the
then
one
I'd
thing
like
they
it-
don't tell you
yeah.
about heaven. It's exclusively Schadenfreude.
Very old world media.
The phones seem to be back up. Let's go to the phones.
This was I said this is at a prayer breakfast. Like it's just that's the event. Just like a prayer breakfast.
Pass
sorry.
the orange juice, please.
Exactly.
I just
Could you
don't want
pass those eggs, please?
I'm sorry to interrupt the rape and
Oh,
murder
I think Phil
fantasy.
Robertson was so absolutely on target with the decapitation and the rape and the swinging the member in front of the man's
Here's some
face.
biscuits.
I know. As an agnostic, I don't want to hear that at
Were
7:30 in the morning.
was the bacon good?